Let me tell you something, nobody wants to admit respect comes after results. Not before, not because you're a nice guy. Not because you're polite, you don't get respected just for trying. You get respected when you win. You get respected when you get rich. That's the truth. Harsh, maybe, but I've lived it. I've seen how people treat you when you have nothing and how fast they switch when you have power, when you have money, when you walk into the room like you own it because you actually do. You want to be respected? Get rich first, build something, take risks, win big, because respect isn't given, it's earned. And in this world, it's earned through success, through dominance, through wealth, not through begging, not through hoping, through work, through vision, through execution. That's how I did it. That's why the Trump name is on towers, and on planes, on everything, because I didn't ask for respect. I built it. I forced them to give it. I started with a loan, yeah, and the crybabies love to whine about it. Trump had a head start. No, I had a launch pad. There's a difference. I didn't sit on it. I didn't waste it. I turned it into billions because I worked while others waited. I moved while others doubted. I made phone calls. I fought zoning boards. I walked construction sites. I stayed up nights studying deals. That's what people don't see. They see the name on the building. They don't see the blood that built it. I learned early nobody respects you when you're broke. They pretend to, they smile, but they don't listen. They don't follow, and they definitely don't believe in you. Respect starts when you bring results. That's the world we live in. That's the game. You can cry about it, you can protest it, or you can win it. I chose to win. I chose to build, and with every win, every deal, every skyscraper, the respect got louder. Not because I asked, because I earned it. Respect is tied to results. You want to change your life? Don't start with mindset journaling or whatever they're selling today. Start with movement, with money. Get your finances right. Get your assets growing. Get your name on something that matters. When you do that, people show up, people listen, people follow. Not because they suddenly see your potential, because now you're proof, your results, and results get respect. When I built Trump Tower, I wasn't just building real estate. I was building reputation, power, authority. The moment it went up, everything changed. I didn't have to chase opportunities, they chased me. That's what money does, it magnetizes everything. And once you have it, the world opens up. People return your calls, people listen closer. Because now you're someone. You've got to understand nobody respects potential forever. They respect execution. That's the difference. I never sold hope, I sold results. I didn't say, look what I'm trying to do. I said, look what I built, look where I live. Look at my numbers. That's how you get respect. That's how you become undeniable. And this whole lie that money doesn't matter, total garbage spoken by people who never had any. You want to help people? Get rich? You want to make impact? Get rich? You want a seat at the table? Get rich or build your own damn table and make them sit at it. That's what I did. I didn't wait for invitations. I created institutions, brands, towers, movements, and the respect followed. They didn't respect me in real estate until I owned half of Manhattan. They didn't respect me in television until The Apprentice hit #1. They didn't respect me in politics until I walked into Washington and flipped the script. Same formula every time, results first, respect later. And once the results show up, they can't ignore you. They don't have to like you, but they have to listen. That's power. Too many people are begging for respect before they've earned it. They think being nice will win them influence. It won't. You think anyone cared about my personality when I was negotiating $100 million deals? They cared about the leverage, the numbers, the brand, the win. That's where respect comes from, not feelings. Outcomes. I outworked everyone. That's the truth. I didn't coast. I didn't chill. I worked while they played. I moved while they hesitated. I went all in again and again. And with every win, the respect got louder. The invitations came in, the deals got bigger. Not because I changed, because I proved it. That's the path. You want respect? Get rich. You want influence? Build something they can't ignore. And let me say this, it's not about money for money's sake. It's about what money proves. It proves discipline, vision, strategy, execution. Money says, I built this. I created this. I didn't just talk about it, I did it. That's what gets respect, not your feelings, not your dreams, your results. So forget the soft stuff, forget the validation. Go get the bag, build your empire. Make the move, show the world what you can do. Because once the money shows up, the respect follows like clockwork. Get rich, get respected, in that order. You want to know when people start respecting you? When you take a punch and keep building. When you get buried and come back even bigger. That's when the respect shows up, not when you're winning, when you refuse to stay down. That's what happened to me. That's how I went from being on every magazine cover for being finished to being one of the most talked about, feared, and respected names in the world. Because I didn't break, I didn't fold, I rebuilt while they laughed. The early 1990s, the media said I was done. Every headline was a funeral. They said I was buried in debt. They said the Trump name was finished. The banks were circling, projects were stalling, and I was staring down billions in debt. Not billions, I was in the kind of position that destroys most men, and it would have destroyed most men. But I'm not most men. I didn't run. I didn't hide. I got to work. I walked into those boardrooms with pressure on my neck and said, let's make this work. I didn't cry. I didn't ask for mercy. I asked for terms, for leverage. I laid out the blueprint. I told them exactly how I was going to flip the script. Because even when the money wasn't there, the work ethic was, the reputation was, the fire was, I kept showing up every day, and they saw it, the bank saw it, the media saw it, and they couldn't believe it. That's what people respect: resilience. Not talent, not privilege, resilience, grit, execution. I didn't get any special treatment. I got hit harder than anyone, and I still delivered. I had to make calls nobody wanted to make. Sell what didn't work, reinforce what did. I focused on the buildings that mattered most. I protected the name, and I started winning one deal at a time. Slowly, then fast, that's how the comeback started. I picked up 40 Wall Street for next to nothing. It was overlooked, undervalued, everyone passed on it. But I saw it, I knew the potential. I grabbed it, rebuilt it, filled it, and turned it into a cash machine. That's what execution looks like. That's what happens when you're willing to do the hard things when no one's watching. That's what happens when you refuse to fold. They still bring up the bankruptcy myth. The critics love that story, but here's what they don't tell you. I didn't go bankrupt personally. I didn't walk away. I stayed in the fire. I negotiated, I worked. I leveraged every bit of discipline, every lesson, every connection, and I came back because that's what real power is. You don't get respected because you never lose. You get respected because you win after losing. During that time, I found out who was real. A lot of people disappeared, people I thought were loyal, people who were happy to ride the wave when things were good. They vanished, and I didn't blame them. I just remembered, because when I came back, when the respect returned, I knew exactly who earned their place at the table and who didn't. The media said Trump was done, finished, but I flipped it. I used the heat. I leaned into the controversy. I didn't shy away from the attention. I redirected it. I turned the noise into marketing. I turned the headlines into leverage. And when I launched The Apprentice, it wasn't just about TV, it was about power, about rebranding, about control. I took the narrative, flipped it, and turned it into a machine. They called me dead, then watched me hit #1. But none of that happened without the lowest moments. The pressure, the silence, the sleepless nights. And that's what nobody sees. They see the wins, not the war. They see the respect, not the rebuilding. I earned that respect in the dark, with my hands dirty, with the media screaming, with the world waiting for me to tap out. And I never did. Because the truth is, I didn't just want to survive. I wanted to win. I wanted to prove everyone wrong. I wanted to show the world that work ethic beats collapse, that grit beats gossip, that results beat rumors. And I did, and when I did, the respect came back. And it came back stronger, louder. And this time, it didn't leave. So when you're down, when it's dark, when the world turns on you good, that's your moment. That's where legends are born. Not when it's easy, when it's chaos, or when it's pressure. That's when you show the world who you are. That's when you prove you're not asking for respect. You're earning it. It's not just about money, it's about how you think before you make the money. That's the piece they leave out. They teach you to dream, but not how to think. They teach you to be grateful for the bare minimum. Not me, I was never built like that. I had the mindset of a billionaire before I had $1 billion. Before Trump Tower, before The Apprentice, before the presidency, I thought like a winner. I thought like a king. That's the key. You win in your head before you ever win in real life. Let me tell you something, broke is a condition. But small thinking, that's a disease. And most people have it. They've been programmed to stay small, to play nice, to wait their turn. They want respect before results. They want praise before proof, but I don't think that way. I never did. I think like this: dominate. Lead. Move first, set the pace, and the world follows the bold. When I was getting buried in bad press, when the banks were closing in, when the wolves were circling, I didn't panic. I doubled down, I stayed calm. You know why? Because my mind was stronger than the situation. That's what people don't understand. They think being mentally tough means yelling into a mirror or writing affirmations. No, being mentally tough means holding the line under pressure. Making clear decisions when the world wants you to fold. That's power. That's how you get respect. I trained my mind to handle pressure like an asset, not a problem. I didn't run from tension, I ran toward it. Because pressure exposes who's real. And I wanted to be real. I didn't want to pretend to be successful. I wanted to be undeniable. So I worked, I studied, I played the long game. And even when I was down, my mind stayed up. That's what saved me. Most people want comfort, they want peace. I want power, I want fire, I want movement. Because that's where greatness lives. In silence and storms, I think aggressively. I act decisively, I move like the game is rigged because it is. But I'm the one rigging it because I outthink, outwork, and outlast the competition. That's mindset, that's how empires are built. You've got to make your brain bulletproof. You've got to become immune to opinions, immune to panic, immune to the noise. You can't let every little thing shake you. If someone's bad comment ruins your day, you're not ready. If one failed deal ruins your year, you're not built for this. Winners don't collapse, they recalibrate, they analyze, they fix, then they go again stronger. I've always believed I was going to win. Not because it was guaranteed, because I refused to believe anything else. That belief, it's a weapon. I walked into rooms I didn't belong in yet, and I acted like I owned them. That's how I got the deals, that's how I built the brand. People believed in me because I believed in myself before they ever saw it. And I didn't need cheerleaders, I didn't need friends clapping for me. I needed focus, I needed discipline, and I had both. I didn't post about the grind, I lived it. While others were watching motivational clips, I was building motivational buildings. That's the difference. The mindset isn't in the words, it's in the execution. In the obsession, you want to be respected? Then become undeniable. Become so disciplined, so focused, so consistent, they have no choice but to respect you. They might hate you, but they'll never deny you. That's what I wanted. Not popularity, power, and the only way to get there is through a mind that refuses to break. Most people are soft mentally, they need comfort to function. I don't, I need pressure, I need goals, I need big stakes, that's where I thrive. That's where I dominate. When I ran for president, they said I wasn't serious, that it was a joke, that I couldn't do it. And I loved it, I fed off it, because the louder they laughed, the harder I worked. And when the results showed up, the laughter stopped. That's mindset, that's vision, that's fire. I didn't let the world decide who I was, I decided first. And then I moved like it was already done. You want to build your brand, your wealth, your respect? Then decide who you are before the world ever gives you permission. I never needed permission, I needed purpose. And I found it not in a seminar, not in a book. I found it by moving, by taking the first shot, by risking. That's what most of you need. You're waiting for someone to come give you confidence. It's never coming. Confidence is built through action. Reps, work, not words. So lock in, build the mindset, burn the excuses, kill the distractions. Become obsessed with the outcome. That's what I did, still do. I don't take days off from belief. I don't clock out of discipline. And that's why the respect hasn't stopped. Because when your mind is built like steel, the world bends to it. I didn't stumble into money, I didn't wake up rich. I earned it, I engineered it with strategy. With execution, every dollar had a purpose. Every move had leverage. That's how you go from being ignored to being respected. You move like a machine. You move like someone who knows exactly where they're going. And that's how I played it from the start. You want to get rich? Then you need to stop guessing and start planning. Most people are busy but not building. They're reacting instead of positioning. That's not what I did. I moved with intent. When I went after Trump Tower, it wasn't just about real estate. It was about visibility, symbolism, power. I picked Fifth Avenue for a reason, because if you win there, you win everywhere. That's not luck, that's strategic placement. I obsessed over location, design, branding. I didn't just want a building, I wanted a monument. I wanted a statement, and I got it. Trump Tower became a landmark, not because I had more talent than the other developers, because I had more vision, because I had the guts to think massive, and the discipline to execute it step by step. When you think like that, the money follows. The respect follows. You can't play small and expect big outcomes. You can't make weak moves and expect strong results. I didn't try to blend in. I tried to stand out in every deal, every appearance, every move I made. When I put my name on something, it wasn't just marketing, it was ownership, a commitment, and I backed it with work ethic. Day in, day out, most people stop when it's hard. I double down. That's what separates leaders from followers. You want to know how I scaled? I took the same brand that built luxury towers and I licensed it. Smartest move I ever made. I didn't need to build everything myself. I let others use my name, but only under my terms. My standards, my rules, and they paid for it. Because my name was valuable, because my name stood for excellence. And I made sure it did. That's what you need to do, turn your work into value and your value into equity. Strategic action means knowing when to pivot, too. I didn't stay stuck in real estate. I moved into media, and not just because I like cameras, because I knew media equals attention. I made The Apprentice a business machine. Every episode, free advertising, every boardroom, brand reinforcement. I didn't just host that show, I dominated it. I made it an extension of my empire. That's what execution looks like. And I didn't just work hard, I worked smart. I surrounded myself with killers. I delegated what didn't need me. I focused on the big plays. That's how you scale. You can't do everything yourself, but you better control the direction. You better drive the vision. That's your job. That's how you go from being busy to being rich. Timing is strategy too. I never moved just to move. I moved when the odds were beatable. I moved when the market was sleeping. I bought when people were scared. I sold when they were greedy. And I built when they said it couldn't be done. That's how I made the money, by moving opposite the crowd. And that takes guts. Most people follow. I don't. I lead. I trust my research, my instincts, my data. Then I move fast and loud.